And this is the global forecast for April 2019. Having just recorded all of the videos for the 12 signs of a zodiac, I got a kind of overview of what's coming up at the global level. And one of the things I've said to not everyone, but maybe a third of all the signs, is that 2019 is starting properly around mid-April. And that the first sort of 15 weeks of 2019 have been really pretty weird. The Mercury retrograde of recent times is now over, although with Mercury still conjuncting Neptune right the way through to perhaps the 7th, 8th of April, it's a slow re-emergence into relative sanity and clarity. And the first week of this month does seem as if it's a continuation of the year so far, in that there's still the potential for further confusion, distortion. And if you need evidence of this at the material world, look at the political situation in Britain. I will be doing a video very shortly, within the next couple of days, on the Brexit scenario and the chaos and instability at the political level in Britain in a way that's not happened for hundreds of years. But this is just representative of everything else that's happening in the world. And it's not going to really start clearing until we're properly into the second week of April. From when on, Mercury is beginning to leave Neptune alone and move forward, although it will still be then squaring Saturn and squaring Pluto before it finally leaves Pisces on the 17th. Venus will leave Pisces on the 20th. So the more we get into the last 10, 12 days of April, then there's going to be a change in the energy, and there is going to be a great deal more clarity beginning to re-emerge. Mars in Gemini is actually a welcome shift. Mars hasn't enjoyed being in Taurus over mid-February to late March. And especially as it's taken place during the time of a Mercury retrograde, it's added to the confusion and the reticence and recalcitrance of people being unwilling to make changes. But now with Mars in Gemini, there's every hope that things can change in a way that's hopefully a little bit more fluid and flexible. Uranus is now fully established in Taurus, and yeah, that's hitting people born at the start of the fixed signs, but collectively this isn't going to impact on the world in any significant shape or form. Saturn and Pluto standing still at the end of Capricorn and then both going retrograde at the end of this month suggests to me that the more we get into the end of April, the more we're all collectively going to take a deep internal sigh and start looking at things a lot more introvertedly, retrospectively, in a way that brings reassessment and reevaluation of the year so far without any need for further drama. So it does seem the more we get into the end of the month, the more relative sanity begins to reassert itself and stability once again becomes a little bit more accessible. Neptune in Pisces, not worried about this, and with Jupiter standing still, going retrograde in Sagittarius, not impacting on the other planets, I don't think this is a problem either. The new and full moons in Aries and Libra respectively, they're not exactly easy ones, but neither are they challenging. There's no difficult aspects here. So the overall picture here is that we start the month in much the way as we left March, in a period of confusion, nebulousness, escapism, avoidance, not looking at the real picture, not able to pin anything down. But then once we're into the second week of April, there is the dawnings of a great deal more clarity beginning to emerge. And then as we get more and more into the middle of April and Mercury and Venus move into Aries, then things are going to start clearing up. Yes, at the end of this month, Mars will square Neptune, and that's going to be a little bit of a stinker for a few people. But if Mars square Neptune is the hardest aspect in a month, then I think we can, especially bearing in mind the year we've all had so far, we can live with that. I anticipate more and more clarity and transparency emerging into the world as we get into the last 10, 12 days of April, and it will be a welcome sight for most of us. I honestly think that we're through the hardest time, or one of the two hardest times of 2019, and the one that's to come is going to be much sharper and much less confusion. The fatigue, weariness, uncertainty and lack of clarity of recent times is now nearly over. I have to say though, that April is not a month of major growth and development. It is a month of recovery, reassessment, reevaluation, and being gentle with ourselves so that we can start 2019 properly. As far as April 2019 goes, folks, have a patient and gentle month.